Hey everybody, this is Nova Politte with the Ladies of the Chains podcast.
And this is Kim Giannola, also with the Ladies of the Chains.
And we're here in Kansas City, Missouri at the 2018 Pro Masters World Championships, bringing you the final 9 for the women's 40 and up Pro Masters. We've got 2 finalists, Kim Giannola, hometown hero, and from Team Giannola Courtney McCoy.
This is going to be a study of 2 very different rounds. One is a veteran who's meeting the moment with very good, clean play, and one fairly new player who is going to play very tight and make many mistakes. And the one making many mistakes is going to be me.
Yep, that's Kim you just heard. She is about to take her first shot on hole 1. It's straight up the gut. There's a roll-away potential to the left, a double mando straight between those 2 trees with the red dots.
Yep. I threw a neutron relay there, got it up just a little bit too high.
McCoy.
Kim is carrying a 4-stroke lead after 4 rounds of 18 holes into the final 9, but Courtney is capable of taking all of that away in a heartbeat. We see her first drive gets a little bit to the left of the fairway.
Yeah, upshot with a anode here, and it was a good upshot, but I didn't really have a look for 2, where Courtney on the other end here almost took a stroke right off the bat.
Yep, both Kim and Courtney will be tapping in their pars here. Earlier this year, in May at the Tim Solinsky Masters at Lemon Lake, Courtney and Kim both played in Masters Women, and Courtney beat Kim by 28 strokes, defeating Leslie Todd and taking the championship.
Yep. I pured this gap in practice right before the round, and then I hit that one branch, and it kicks me far to the right.
Yep.
You can't really see how far in I am at this point, but it was brutal.
Yep, this hole is 365, but it plays more like 400. It's down and back up again on a steep valley. The basket is elevated just a bit higher than the tee pad. And if you catch this first tree on the left, it'll kick you down to the base of the valley, which is where Courtney has just made her upshot from.
Yeah, and you can't see by this angle, but all of that shul in front of me is completely obstructing my line. I went for a desperate forehand, just trying to get out of there, and it rolled down the hill. And now I'm standing on the rock. I don't really have a really good footing, so that's about as best as I could do. But that forehand was a poor decision. That's someone very nervous in the final, and should have played conservatively and just taken my medicine and gotten the 4 instead of trying for the 3.
Yep, here's Courtney tapping in her par. After hitting that first tree at the bottom of the ravine, she made her upshot and an easy putt in, and is playing pretty smart golf at this point.
Yep, and that mistake was costly. My lead is just in half.
After 2 holes, Kim is still leading the tournament by just 2 with 7 holes to go. Hole 3 plays 485 feet down a gentle slope. The hazard here is a roadway just 8 to 10 feet beyond the basket, and it is very easy to slide long and go OB.
Yeah, we both had really good drives here. Hers was about 20 feet better than mine. It was very smooth and beautiful placement.
It looks like both of you bit off about 350 feet or so. And there's that treacherous skip I was talking about.
I hit pretty much where I wanted to hit. I was wanting to basically stop against the tree and just putt from there. And it caught the hard earth and skipped out. So there's another stroke.
Yeah, you can see Courtney's shot just behind the basket. It just stayed in, and she's going to have a tap in for her par to Kim's bogey. This will reduce Kim's lead to just 1 with 6 more holes to play.
Look at all that pain. That's nerves. That's all it is right there.
We're on hole 4, 627 feet. You have to make a mando to the left of that largest dark tree, and then cross a road which plays as a river of OB. Both players cleanly make it past the mando into the first landing zone, and they're going to be playing across this gap as you see Courtney throwing, and then up the hill past the 3 rock retaining walls to the basket. That is good and clean on the other side.
Now I'm going to make a mistake here. Played a little bit with the nerves and stepped to the right and hit that tree. I wanted to take the line that Courtney threw, but what you couldn't see really from the angle of the video is that low-hanging tree made that line actually pretty dangerous. I thought my initial drive was really good and had, proper placement, but I found out when I got up to my lie, everywhere I was going to go was treacherous. I just happened to pick the worst route.
Right. Both Courtney and Kim looking at long putts after their upshots. Courtney gives this a bid, and it sits on the grass. It did not roll away, which is a common event at Waterworks Park. There's a verb named after it, being waterworked.
There's double bogey to Courtney's bogey, but at this point in time, she's measuring every shot. She came very close to getting par there and just taking the outright lead on this hole. That is a veteran player, taking her time and measuring every stroke.
Definitely. With the 4-stroke difference in the round so far, Courtney has eliminated Kim's lead, and they are now tied with 5 holes to play. This is hole 5, par 3, 312 feet. It plays up the center of this valley, and then a little bit to the left and up the hill at the far end of it. Both Kim and Courtney get good place to the middle of the fairway. They'll be just looking at sticking this upshot and not rolling away. There are a lot of roots around the base of this basket that can kick a disc right back down the hill.
Yeah, I really thought I had good placement when I threw my drive, and then when I walked up there, I realized that the hyzer approach was blocked by the 2 trees directly in front of me. I had to flex the anode in there a little bit on an anhyzer line and hope it came out, and luckily it did.
And Kim has got the first par in a little while, and Courtney is continuing to do terrific work here, putting in her par as well. And with 4 holes to go, it is all tied up for the championship still. This is normally hole 1 at Waterworks. It is the signature hole on the course. 508 feet downhill. There's a first ridge to clear, and then the basket is on the second ridge.
Yep, watch my footwork here. This is a mistake.
Oh, off to the right.
When I'm nervous and I don't think about my shot or how my footwork is on the tee, I often step a little bit to the right, and that's nerves again. So it's a matter of the moment getting to me. I couldn't calm down, and I kept making mistakes.
Yep, here in the Midwest, 2-meter rule is almost never used, so there's no penalty. The disc is about 50 or 60 feet up in that tree. Here's Kim's shot over the ridge, and it catches the tree which guards the ridge, leaving her well short of the basket. Courtney is also coming up over this ridge. She caught the tree and rolled down and didn't quite get over. And that puts her within sight of the basket as well. So now both players will be making their upshots.
I really didn't think I put that much juice on this, and it went long. It went well long.
Yeah, out of sight it went. This is a long comebacker to save the bogey.
Yep.
So that'll be tapping in double bogey, and Courtney will be tapping in a single bogey.
Yep. We've played 6 holes. I have gone from 4 strokes up to 1 stroke down.
With 3 more holes to play. We're on And hole 7, 263 feet, plays more like 325 or 350.
The camera angle does not do this incline justice at all.
It is very steep and very steeply pitched from the right to the left. A shot that Heiser's in on for a right-hander will go into that junk on the left, and it's very hard to get up from there.
And that's if you stay on this fairway. It's very easy to completely go down to the next hole. Or I should say the preceding hole from here.
Courtney taps in a very straightforward par on this hole, as does Kim.
At this point, I'm not going to say I've resigned myself to the loss, but I've resigned myself to the fact that I'm not holding the lead anymore. So I'm calming down a little bit.
Moving on to hole 8, 283 feet. One of the most guarded baskets on the course. Getting onto the green from this tee pad is quite a feat. The Heiser line is guarded by these branches on the right, and there are just 5 tree trunks between the tee pad and the basket, and they seem to catch every disc.
Yeah, put that one a little bit too high and paid the price for it.
Not a terrible upshot, though. That looks like that'll putt.
Look
Courtney-
at that flex.
Courtney gives that quite a go. Comes up just a little short. How were your nerves on this putt right here?
Really bad.
Fortunately, you made it. Otherwise, you would have been going into the final hole 2 down.
2 down, yeah.
I'd like to take a moment to thank Terry Miller for letting me run video camera on this. It's my first time using a pro rig, and I apologize for the couple times on the first couple of holes where the disc went out of the frame. That's me. Okay, hole 9, the final hole. 354 uphill, plays more like 450. Courtney's drive comes up short and does not quite crest that first ridge.
Yep, and this was the point I realized if I could crest the ridge and get up there, I was going to have an opportunity to get a stroke.
And there it is. Kim's made the ridge. You've got a much easier upshot in front of you. There's Courtney's second. You can see the gallery gathered just by the basket on the left. And she's overshot it. It's gone beyond the basket about 65 feet the other side.
This is anode upshot again.
And that is parked.
Yep.
Okay, for the championship of the world, Courtney is looking at about a 65-footer here. And just over. And now she's got a tester putt. Well, once Kim gets out of the way.
Yeah, it should be obvious to me that she's out. I'm just so nervous that I'm asking anyway.
Yep. Now, Courtney's got to make this to keep it tied. No problem.
I mean, all credit to Courtney. When she came into this 4 strokes down and just played, phenomenally to get all of that back.
In 9 holes, Courtney is tied with Kim Giannola, bringing in 4 strokes in just 9 holes. Double checking the scorecard at the scoring table now, just to make sure before we start the playoff. So if we get a close look, there's 31 and 35. 4 throws difference. Moving to sudden death, back to hole 1. That tunnel shot with the double Mando.
I'm Danny from Dynamic Discs here at hole 12 at Waterworks Park in Kansas City. This is going to be hole 1 for the final 9, and it's a low ceiling, very straight shot that can't fade at all. So that means I'm going to throw my Maverick. This disc I can flip up to flat, it'll hold straight for a very long time, and I know it's not going to fade down that hill. So if you're looking for a very straight shot without much fade, check out a Maverick.
Kim is up first with her par.
At this point I corrected a little bit. My relay did its flex and is giving me a putt.
How long of a putt do you think you've got here?
Probably about 45 feet.
Not bad for a chance at a championship. Courtney's drive comes up a little shorter, and she's got about a 55, 60-footer here. Oh, so close.
I thought she had that. When I saw it dipping in, I thought it was good. And while my disc was in the air, I thought mine was good.
Neither player is able to convert on the birdie, and we're going to move on to the second hole, which is again the hole with the ravine and the guardian tree at the left-hand side. And we'll see if our players can get cleanly through it this time around.
Yeah, I'm trying to adjust here, make certain I hit the gap, aim a little bit more to the left. And I aim a little bit more to the left, but I didn't put enough power on the disc and it didn't turn. And it hits, but thankfully it just drops straight down.
There's Courtney's go. Also catches that tree, and it is kicked backwards, but cleanly into the center of the fairway, but all the way at the bottom of the hill. This is a very long upshot. Gives it quite a rip, and comes down about 40 feet from the basket. This is Kim's second from slightly closer.
I'm throwing a signal here.
And that's within circle one. Courtney's got to know at this point that you can make this putt. So she's got to run this to stay in it for sure. And she does run it.
I thought she had it. I thought we were going to push this and go to the next hole, and here I am, suddenly with the opportunity to win it after having lost all of that lead.
And there it is, your 2018 Female Pro Masters 40 and Up World Champion, Kimberly Giannola. This is the kind of sportsmanship I really like to see.
Courtney is amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your FP40 2018 Masters World Champion, Miss Kim Giannola. Thank you.
Great to play with, gracious in defeat, warm to me the entire tournament. Absolutely love playing with Courtney.
Excuse the camera bobble here. Kim, I'm married to Kim. I've got to give her a hug. What are you feeling right here as you're laying down and just looking at the sky?
My stomach is still a ball of knots.
You've just won a world title.
It hurts.
Where are you going next?
I had to try to relax a little bit.
And Michael's wedding.
Congrats, Liz and MK.
Yeah, Liz and MK. We went from here to their 1,000-rated disc golf wedding.
For caddying for me and dealing with my emotional wreckness the entire week.
And Stephen Meyer, thank you for caddying me.
MVP for supporting
Caddying
me.
for me on the final
It's
nine.
been a great ride.
Really helped.
Thank you for all the volunteers. You made this tournament fantastic, and the staff. I know this must have been a nightmare to run. We thank you too.
Thank you. There it is, your world champion, Kimberly Giannola, won Am Masters last year and Pro Masters this year.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, moving along to the FP40 division, we had another extremely tight race that also went into a playoff after the final nine had concluded. And coming out on top, your new world champion in the FP40 division, Miss Kimberly Giannola.
Oh, wow. Can you hear me? Yes, no?
Yeah!
Oh. Courtney, Jen, and Andrea, thank you so much for coming out and competing. It was great to be with every one of you. Everyone in the Kansas City Flying Disc Golf... Wow, I'm getting choked up. Kansas City Flying Disc Golf Club and the Kansas City Disc Golf Divas who offered me support this week, thank you. To my spouse, who had to deal with all of my emotional baggage this week. Thank you so much for helping me through that. All the volunteers, the staff, the PDGA, this is not an easy event to put on. We really appreciate all the effort you put into this. And of course, my sponsor MVP, started off as a fan, and suddenly here I am doing this, and it's just unreal. So thank you.